I had a direct selling business for 14 years that I worked very hard at, thinking that Mike and I would be able to work together and that would be like part of like our residual income in retirement. And well, that didn't work out.
Yep.
So after 14 years, I became very discouraged and lost hope. I was no longer willing to put in the work.
We had a dream of working a business together. I think I want to start building something for ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to build a
Yeah.
$1 million business for us.
You were born to create, and doTERRA just happens to be the best vehicle there is for creating whatever you want, whether it's time freedom, health, wellness, financial freedom. doTERRA is a powerful vehicle, and you are the creator that gets to use this tool. So welcome to another podcast of doTERRA Business Success. We are super excited to hear another success story. Now that I have been at this doTERRA gig for 18 years now, loved every minute. Well, that's not entirely true. It's been a roller coaster. There are ups and downs, but the lessons that we have gained and the growth that's available here is like nothing I've ever seen. And so we want to invite you on a ride today to hear from a couple of our dear friends and rock star leaders. Judy and Mike Danaher are gold in doTERRA, and they have hit gold within the last year. So these are new leaders. This is not an old story from 15 years ago. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Judy and Mike, we're super grateful to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
We're very excited.
Welcome, welcome. It was fun to see you both in sunny San Diego, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you're here with us today. So before we jump into your story, I want to hear a little bit more about your life before doTERRA. So give us kind of a snapshot, what you were doing. What was life like before doTERRA? BD.
I was a stay-at-home mom. I've always been a stay-at-home mom for 40 years. We've been married for 41 years.
Yep.
We have 9 kids. We have 17 grandkids under 13. And so life is like full in the very best kind of way.
And big.
And big, yes. So we like to do things big.
Yeah.
So when everybody's here is the best kind of chaos you can imagine, and we love it. So I homeschooled all of our kids all the way through high school, except for one. He was a scholarship athlete, and so he graduated his senior year. He went to a private school as kind of an adjustment to college life. Everybody else, we homeschooled. Many are entrepreneurs. So that was my life. And then I had a direct selling business for 14 years that I worked very hard at, thinking that Mike and I would be able to work together and that would be like part of like our residual income in retirement. And well, that didn't work out.
Yep.
So after 14 years, I became very discouraged and lost hope. And then my dear friend, Sarah Shoemaker, invited me to a class, and I came and was blown away by the science and research behind doTERRA and the success of the products. And so we actually started with the supplements. I had had some oils, but didn't really have the education to be able to use them well. And so we had phenomenal results with the supplements. And then it was just a couple months later, we're like, okay, let's do the business. What does the business look like?
Yeah.
So before we jump too far into what you did here, give us a better picture of, so you built in direct sales for 14 years.
Yep.
Clearly, you had to have had some success to stick around for 14 years. But tell me more about what wasn't working for you in that other opportunity.
So I think I have a lot of determination and stick with it, but I was so discouraged in my other business and I wanted to quit. And Mike was like, it's just not time yet.
I was in the car business for 38 years. So I just retired last year. And so I worked full time.
Lots of hours.
In sales and management, lots of hours.
Yeah.
And so we started out our other business with me coaching my wife on how to do it, like how to make phone calls. Don't be afraid of the phone. All those basic things back in the day.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning for me involved in our other business.
And so by the time, like I had built to the top of that company, but I was so burned out and so discouraged and my income kept going down. And there was no way, like I wasn't at the very top tier. So let's say that I was like, if you compare in doTERRA, it's probably like a diamond, maybe even a blue diamond. But my hope of ever getting to like a presidential level was impossible. I was no longer willing to put in the work. I would never be able to. And I want to say, like, we're workers. It's not that I
Yeah.
don't want to work, but
Sure.
never have, I would have to always be working at least 40 hours a week. And so I just got so discouraged. And so I
Can I just give a little more detail there because I've
yeah,
been blown away as I've become more familiar with the other opportunity that you did. From my understanding, if you wanted to earn your full paycheck, you had to do $1,000 in personal enrollments every month.
yeah, yeah,
So
personal sales. Yeah.
personal sales 1,000.
Yeah.
So in doTERRA, like
I
anybody who
know.
brings in 1,000 personal enroll, like 1,000 PV in personal enrollments per month,
Yeah.
I call them an absolute rock star.
Yes.
But in this other company, if you weren't doing that, you don't get your full check.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter if it's December, right? Which you're
No.
hoping to
No, no,
spend
no,
some time with your family.
no,
You're hoping there's a little bit of time freedom, a little bit of take your foot off the gas. No.
no,
No,
It's
no.
and we're starting over every month.
Yeah.
Every 30 days you started over.
so can you give us just to kind of go deeper, tell us the retention rate in your other opportunity?
Oh, it was like maybe 10%.
Yeah, the numbers I heard were
That
single
would be,
digits.
yeah. I don't even know what my retention rate was. I
Yeah,
because we had to have new customers every month. So because I was
yeah.
working at full time, I was looking for 80 to 100 new customers every month. So that's
Oh
eight
my
to 10
goodness.
new hosts every month.
Ugh.
And there was never a time of taking your pedal off the gas. Like in December, we worked harder because we were trying to get paid at title. And then during the summer, we worked harder because we were trying to earn the trip. And
Oh
so
my
it
goodness.
was just like it was difficult. It was
Yeah.
great.
I have so much respect for everyone that I've met who came from this other opportunity, like so much respect. And so yeah, so imagine your summers, like what do summer vacations look like when you
Oh,
have to get 1,000 PV to get your full check?
yeah.
The other aspect too was we had a dream of working a business together. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the whole goal of starting a
Yeah.
home business was to do it together. And we attempted it back in 2014, and it just couldn't. I couldn't get it
It just
wasn't.
didn't work.
No, it just didn't
It
work,
just didn't
Hmm.
work.
and that was challenging as well. So here, like that dream was like poof, that's not going to work. Go find
Wow.
something else, Mike,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Now, I don't know this for sure, but I think I heard that those top ranks, like the absolute, like let's say Presidential Diamond in
Yeah.
this other company, what were the top earnings at Presidential, that pay
Oh,
title?
that would be like, and there's only four at the top.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna say maybe 30,000 a month,
Okay.
top
So
down.
has anybody looked
If
at the
that.
build guide in
I
doTERRA?
know.
So what is the average, right? What does the average Presidential
Mm,
Diamond make? Over 100,000 a month.
mm.
Okay. Blue Diamond, what's the average? Is like 30, 35, something like that. So like such a game-changing difference in the opportunity. And how many are there, right? There's
Oh, yeah.
probably 100 presidential diamonds in the company, probably, I don't know, 400 blue diamonds, maybe more, maybe 500, compared to four who are getting paid at blue or higher in
Yes.
this other company.
So when Sarah showed me the build guide,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, but okay, first of all, you're blown away because the numbers are like what? Uh,
yeah,
and then you're like, is this really possible? Like how many are there at that level? And then she told
yeah,
us how many like diamonds are just on your team. And so we're on
yeah.
the team. It's like, oh, and then I went to convention and the gala was like, I just cried. Like I just
Wow.
cried. Like I can't believe
How many
what
promotions there were to
it
get
was
just promotions for that year?
we
Just
were
for that year.
so
They
excited to
kept coming
see
and coming and coming.
the growth,
Hmm.
the abundance, and the possibility. And I think like I could work my other company and do a party and I could teach somebody how to clean a window. Okay, great. It's not that it was a bad company or a bad product, but it's not you only need one, right? Ever.
Yeah,
Like they last 10 years.
right.
So when I started with doTERRA and Sarah and I did my launch, I had a woman who enrolled, she was in a Zoom class and she was like in her 70s. and she could not afford the products. She
Wow.
enrolled with Foundational Wellness and she couldn't afford it. She said, I need help and I believe in this and I'm going to figure out how to pay for it. And she called me 2 weeks after she started using it and said, I will always figure out a way to pay for this. It has helped me so much. So
Wow.
okay. I was like, okay, it
Yeah.
passed.
Just
So,
Yeah.
life changing.
so the mission, right?
Yeah.
There's deeper purpose. There's the power to change lives
Yes.
with the products that we offer. So the metaphor that I keep hearing about this other company is like a treadmill. Like you're on this treadmill that's just high speed, always going. And if you want to get your check, you have to stay on the treadmill. There's no exit anywhere in sight. And so so you couldn't work together as a couple. There was no real residual income with a terrible retention rate and the high personal performance required. And there was a ceiling on growth potential.
Yeah.
And then the lack of a cause. So a deeper purpose.
Yeah. And it was really my oldest daughter. She's a wedding photographer. She's very successful in the luxury industry. And she's the one who's like, Mom, you do not have a residual income. I'm like, yes, I do. She said, no, you don't. Look, you have to work for that. I was like, oh, you're right. I don't. And the other thing that really struck me is my kids would use the other products if I gave it to them. But in doTERRA, when I said I'm thinking about changing to doTERRA, every single one of them was supportive.
Wow.
And most of them are using the products.
That's
They're
amazing.
using the products.
And that's after investing 14 years of your life into this other opportunity. So for your children to see that and to coach you to move, that speaks volumes. Okay, so carry on with your story. I just want to get a clearer picture of where you were before you saw the vision and decided to make the move.
We were burned out and without hope. Like, okay, what's this going to look like? And so then I started with doTERRA, and I want Mike to share a little bit about what his career has been because it plays a part.
In the car business, I haven't worked for a really good owner, and but we had taken on a new franchise, and he put me in charge of it. And I took that franchise from being zero to building a new building and being one of the top franchise. It was a Volkswagen franchise in the Atlantic region, and so I built it. I was the one in charge of it. So then the Mazda franchise I strengthened, and then I moved to I go on years and unfortunately was let go from that job by the son, crazy enough, after 26 years of being there. And then I go to work for another really good owner, and he put me in charge of the Volkswagen Sprint. I mean, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. Like they didn't have a Sprinter department. I was the Sprinter department. And I grew that business to be #1 in sales, and then enough of a built up of a business to them build a Sprinter only building. And it was then when I thought, I've made 2 owners highly successful, and the other previous owner sold his franchises after his son had a hard time with it for millions and millions of dollars. And I'm like, I was part of
We didn't get a cut of that. No, we didn't get anything.
And here I'm seeing this franchise like these heights again, and I'm like, I think I want to start building something for ourselves. Like, I would like to build $1 million business for us. So that was part of our vision of me leaving the dealership, leaving that whole industry, and coming on board with Judy to do, and because it was possible, we saw the possible. In Judy's first year, doing it by herself mostly, she just grew a fantastic business. And
I just want to offer hope to anybody who's watching this. We started when I was, I think, 60, almost 65. Okay, I'm 67 now. So age has nothing to do with what you can do with this business.
Yeah. Age is just a number.
It is. Yep.
I love that. What I'm hearing you say is, you can only build, when you wake up to this reality that you were born to create, you can only create and build other people's dreams for so long before you wake up and realize, but what about my dreams? What about me? Like, do I get to, enjoy the fruits of my labors.
Yeah.
Because when when you're working for someone else, you're only building their dreams.
Yeah.
Right.
And no legacy, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
building our legacy. I was
Right.
building their legacy.
Yeah.
So, which is okay. I was paid well and it was okay. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's been really exciting. Out of the 9 kids, we have one who is building a business. We offered it to everybody. So far, they've been like, not yet. That's fine. They're watching her. She's a silver now. And so that's been very, very exciting to work with our daughter and see her success and what it's doing for her family. And so that's been just a huge blessing for us as part of the legacy and the health benefits for everyone
Yeah.
in our family has been tremendous.
That's amazing. Okay, so back up. Sarah Shoemaker introduced you to the product. You were open to the product. She showed you the comp plan. You seemed to like it. So what next? What happened next?
Well, Sarah said, okay, we're going to Utah. And I hadn't left my other company yet. So it was December and I said, I can't go. My daughter's here from Singapore. And she just kept at me until we made it. You guys worked with her. I think you guys are getting ready to go to Thailand for a month. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we went to Utah. We stayed at your house. I did a tour of home office and got to meet with Emily Wright and was just like, I was actually pretty overwhelmed, but I was like so excited and so like I think I was just so emotionally full of the potential and the possibility of hope. I just saw I just saw this like this what the picture I had in my mind for this business was just this field that had been tilled and was rich, deep, rich earth that was ready to be planted. And
Hmm.
that was the field of hope. And I was like, okay, let's go plant that field. Let's give as many people hope as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Beautiful.
feel like we're doing. And it's just it's not just in the products, it's in the business. We
Yeah.
love sharing the business at every turn.
So it sounds like Sarah was super persistent.
She was.
She's
Yeah.
that's one of her gifts.
Yes.
And she leveraged existing events, right?
Yes.
So the event you're talking about was Experience doTERRA.
Yes.
Correct.
So you came to an Experience doTERRA.
Yep.
Through the tours, through the meetings with executives, you caught a bigger vision. You probably got to have more product experiences and
I did.
just exposure to more leaders and their stories,
Mhm.
and that just expanded what Sarah had already shared with you. So that's the power, right? Like you as an upline or you as a prospector, you only have so much experience to draw from. But when you come to a big event, now you're drawing from, everything that corporate has to offer and all of the cross-line and sideline, upline stories that they get to hear. That exposure builds massive belief.
Yeah.
It does, and that's exactly what it did for me. I have such a high belief in the people, the company, the products.
Yeah.
My belief is so high, and it's because of the exposure I've had. Because I'm very new. I'm only 2
Yeah.
years in. I'm very new to doTERRA. I'm not new to the industry or to working, but I'm very new to doTERRA and the products. And I just at every turn something good is happening.
Yeah.
Wow. So you came to Experience doTERRA. You already had a great foundation, thanks to Sarah. It sounds like you really chose in.
Mhm.
And then what was the next step?
So Sarah lives in Colorado and I'm in Virginia. So she flew out and launched me. And we had a very intense week of classes. And so it was my job just to get people in my home. And so I did that. It was very stressful. But I just kept inviting until I had every class full. We had 3 classes. And so in January, and honestly, I know I have experience, but anybody can do this. I did enroll 17, which now I felt like a total loser at that number at the time because my mindset hadn't flipped yet. But anybody can really enroll, like even 5 is a big number every month. Anybody can do that if you just take enough action.
Yeah.
You have to take enough action. So if you're having classes, you're not getting enough people, you're not getting enrollments, do a little bit more, just
Yeah.
a little bit more.
So you came to Experience doTERRA, and probably like we do every Saturday at Experience doTERRA, we probably handed out a launch guide,
Yep,
and you probably started your names list.
yep,
And you probably had a launch plan in
yep,
place with Sarah to
yep.
go home and start sharing, start inviting. She helped with the teaching, so you didn't have to know how to
Good.
teach a class.
All the teaching.
But there are a lot of people nowadays who say, classes don't work anymore. I've tried classes and they just don't work. It sounds to me like you've built the bulk of your business on classes,
We
home
have.
in-home classes.
Yes.
So what would you say to these people who say classes don't work anymore?
I say if you think classes don't work and that's what you want to believe, then you're right.
Yeah.
But it's not true. It is not true. It is absolutely not true. And I love the natural intelligence because that's like get together, get with people, put down your device and put down the electronics and actually meet with people. And
Yeah.
I love it when I have somebody who says that they want to gather some friends. I like to have three. That's all I want is three. Okay, if you can have five, that's fine. But I find that if I have three and we're sitting around a table and I'm just doing
Mhm.
a little bit of a presentation, I'm not using a script. We're just talking, and then they're very transparent, and that's my favorite number. Now, maybe other people like to do bigger events, but I love that small connection where I can
Yeah.
actually take care of the person.
Powerful. Yeah, I love this comment that Becky just made that people nowadays are so starved for connection.
Hmm.
Right.
These little boxes have sucked us into a vortex of social media, and social is the last thing that it is.
Yeah.
It's a fake connection. And so classes offer, knee to knee, belly to belly classes offer real connection.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what I loved at leadership. Someone mentioned this earlier, when we got to have the unplugged event, that was one of the powerful parts of it is there were no phones in the room.
Yeah.
And so that allowed people to be fully present, which how often are people ever present anymore? And in a class where you only have three people, it's pretty hard for someone to pick up their phone and start scrolling, right? Like
Exactly.
you got to be
Yeah.
really present with a
Yeah.
small group, no hiding. So that's a powerful principle. Okay, so you started holding classes. It sounds like your daughter engaged. She's built a silver. Tell us more about your experience finding builders, finding leaders, more than just customers.
Okay, so having the business side is definitely my strength. And I'm just an entrepreneur at heart, but I was having a hard time finding those builders. I was like, okay, how do you do this? It was a very slow path. Is this what you do? You enroll, they take, several months for a product experience, and then they do the business is it really like that slow? And so that's what was happening to me. And I couldn't figure it out. It took me about 10 months. And I was at I went to three experienced doTERRAs in my first year. Okay, so it was about 10 months later, and was at another experienced doTERRA, and it finally clicked. Like, I don't know why I wasn't seeing this. I think I just had to unwind from my other company. But I started pursuing people that I wanted to work with. I got clarity on what I was looking for in a builder, the qualities that I wanted, and I started reaching out to people that I wanted to work with. And that's been very effective. And not everybody has said yes. Okay, some people have said no, they're not ready, or it's not time, or they say yes and they're very, very part-time, which does amazing multiplication in your organization. But I have four frontline builders, and all of them I pursued. So it's been two had a product experience first and two didn't. So that to me is like just the way the business is set up, the business model. Um, don't be afraid to ask people. Like it's just like inviting. You're inviting to the business. I think the business is the best product we have. We just happen to have a really great product line to back up that great business. So I think it's the best thing. So I mean, I love what you say, Andy, is you've been helping people with financial freedom for 18 years or something like that, financial abundance, something. And I love that because that's exactly what doTERRA is.
Absolutely. Yeah, the business, I think it does as much or more good than all of our healing hands.
Hmm.
You know, I look at markets like Brazil or um, Romania or even the US, and the hope and the financial healing that is available through our business opportunity
Yeah,
is like it's charitable work. It's ministry.
it
It's
is.
reaching down and lifting in ways that I don't know any other way that could. It's first of all, it's sustainable.
Hmm.
Second of all, it's you know it's not a hand out, it's a hand up,
Hmm.
and it offers the dignity of helping someone realize I'm a creator. I can be I can create healing in my life. I can create solutions for others, and the empowerment that comes there. I mean, there's like you said, there's nothing like it. Awesome. So you found some prospects. You invited them to build. I mean, you mentioned the build guide earlier, so I assume the
Hmm.
build guide is part of that conversation with these prospects.
Yes, very much so. So we usually, have, we do always present the bill guide as part of it. And it's so interesting because I think that probably a lot of us would agree that if you show anybody the bill guide, they want to be in, right?
Yeah,
They see those numbers and that possibility. They're like, is this real? That's usually the
right.
first question. And then they want to be in. But, I was taught that words and actions actually speak louder than their words. And
Yeah.
so that is kind of like a little test you can do for somebody if they're really going to, where you're going to place them. So
Mm,
that's a big part of it. We do a lot of three-way calls on our team. Like Sarah helps us a lot with three-way calls. Even now, when I have a potential builder, I bring her in because it adds credibility. That the new person knows nothing about me or what I'm doing in the business, but
mhm.
bring her in adds credibility. So we like to do that. Um, we yeah, we really lean on our uplines and they lean on us. And so I really love the collaborative part of the business too.
I'd say lean
Awesome.
in instead of lean
Okay,
on.
lean in.
Lean
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I know that you've invited multiple prospects to experience doTERRA.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like you've got a very systematic approach now, even though it did take time and it took
Yeah.
maybe some learning, but it seems like using the build guide, using three-way calls, inviting to
Yeah.
experience doTERRA, you've got a system now to invite people to build with you, to partner with you, and you're finding success.
And I think another huge part of that for me has been the oils. I
Mhm.
was like, I didn't really understand the power of the oils. And then, Natalie kept saying, use your oils, let them do your heavy lifting. I'm like, I wonder what that means. And then I started doing it. And then I took the essential emotions coaching. The emotional side of the oils, I think that had that support that has given me to be able to keep being persistent and being open. And that's the other thing is just being open to doTERRA is like this business that it just keeps unfolding.
Mhm.
And we don't know the farther we go into it and as we
Mhm.
keep working, it just keeps unfolding and we don't even know like the depth of everything that is there or the
Mhm.
possibilities that could really be there until you just keep going. And that emotional breakthrough has been part of it for me.
Mm.
We do, and Mike has been so open. Like we've done emotional breakthroughs with each other. It's been
That's
phenomenal.
amazing.
Oh, it's just phenomenal.
Wow, that makes me so happy. The oils really are like an onion, right? They just you keep peeling, and there's another layer, another layer.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
It's
actually
amazing.
started with the emotion when we found essential oils. It was the emotional benefit that we found first, and it wasn't until years later that we found the physical healing from oils. So it doesn't matter where you start,
Yeah.
just start peeling, right?
Yeah.
Start peeling them back.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's so powerful. So you're sitting at gold now. You've been at this for 2 years. Tell us about your vision, your hope, your dreams. You built to the top before. I'm guessing you seem like a visionary couple that has big plans, big hopes.
She's a visionary. I'm the dreamer.
Okay, I like it.
He's a visionary too. So if I said, well, we're definitely gonna be presidential, and if we once you're presidential, why not go double presidential? I mean,
There you
like
go.
it's there, and I don't see a
Love
reason to
it.
stop. I think the thing for us is that we are having so much fun.
Yeah.
We are often like, pinch me.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we get to work together. I can't believe we get to the amount of people that we get to help. I mean, it's so fun. It's inspiring for us. We are loving the lifestyle that we have. We are loving the impact that we have. It has been like bigger and better than we thought it would be. And it
Wow.
just keeps getting better.
Yeah,
It
and I
just keeps
walked
getting
away
better.
from a very good paying
Yeah.
job, but the question was, if not now, when? Kept
Yeah.
coming up for
Yeah.
Judy and I. If not now, when? We kept putting off like, well, let's wait till we get here
Hmm.
and then we'll live this dream that we've been
Right.
wanting for years.
Yeah.
And we kind of stayed there. Like even after he came home, we kind of stayed there because like, okay, we'll start doing things when we get to this level, when we get to this income or whatever. And then we're like, wait a minute, let's start living the lifestyle now. Let's just do it within our means.
Yeah.
And that was another
Yeah.
mindset shift,
Yeah, it was a
you
mindset
know?
shift.
And so it's just been so good.
I love that so much. Talk to us about building this business as a couple. Um, how do you leverage your strengths? What coaching do you have for others who want to do this as a couple? Um, Teach us.
Well, I think main thing is we've worked on our marriage for our whole married lives. I mean, someone told us early on, if you're not working on your marriage, you're working on a divorce. And we took that to heart, and we've
Yeah.
always worked on our marriage.
And we've had some very difficult periods. So it hasn't all been,
Yeah, no,
roses and sunshine.
right. But I think, we've grown into who we are, and we're comfortable with who we are. And things that maybe 15 years ago used to irritate us about each other, we now laugh at it. It's not funny. It's like, what happened? Like, why is it
Well,
funny?
we don't always laugh. But maybe it's not.
Maybe Mike laughs and Judy cries. Is that?
And I'm just annoyed. Grab that oil.
Grab the oil.
Where's the oil for annoyance?
Grab the oil.
For the most part, we've found our lanes, and our lanes have always intertwined in our married lives, and they still do the same, but we still have places. I'm an extrovert by nature. She's an introvert by nature. I love being around people. I get recharged being around people. She gets recharged by being alone. And so, we've learned to work in these lanes that we have.
And I think too, Mike allows me to work in my strength
Yeah.
because I am a business person.
She's my CEO wife. I mean, what am I going to say?
I love that.
I can't change that about her. I'm fine, VP or whatever, it's like, so a lot of marriages might not be in that same
Right.
place or be
Right.
willing to be in that same place as far as husbands and wives. And we're there. She's just brilliant at so many different things. And my strengths don't match her strengths. So
Yeah.
we've been able to
Right.
work in our strengths.
And
Tell us more about each of your unique strengths. What you said business, but what else do each of you have in terms of strengths that you bring?
okay, so I'm definitely focused. I'm an
Okay.
achiever and a learner. And so I'm in discipline, discipline is one of my top 5. And so I like to have clarity and I go after things. Like if I have clarity, I will go after it
With
and I'm
intensity.
learning. Okay, I'm still learning. Okay. But I think that like with us working together, we've learned to work with humility and kindness with each other.
Yeah.
Because like he has some, honestly, we both have habits that annoy each other. And it was just recently I was like, why am I so stressed? It's because I was used to, for years, I was home alone and I was working alone in a quiet house. That's my preference.
Wow.
Him, nope, he's noise.
I like music.
talking to me all day long. And I'm like, okay, well, we had to take time to figure out, okay, why am I upset? It's because he will not be quiet. And I know that's like, for a lot of women, that is like, I wish my husband would talk, but
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think clearer with music in the background. She can't think with music in the background.
Yeah.
So we've
Oh,
learned
wow.
how to operate that
we
way.
take turns.
Yeah.
But Mike's top strength is definitely relationship.
It's woo, woo I hit
Yeah.
Okay.
one of my chart. And that's always followed me in my career where I just had the ability to be able to explain things in a servant manner to others as far as why my product would be best for them. And then let them make a decision. So I think that's still the place I'm at today, and I'm just learning. I now am re-engaging with friends that I've had for all my life that I didn't have time for when I worked 50 hours a week. Now I
Yeah.
have time for them, and so I'm reconnecting with relationships that I've had, friendships that I've had, and that just builds. It's the whole, start 100 conversations this week kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable in there. That's really easy for me. And so, I find myself really being out of the house more for that reason. And
Mm,
that gives Judy the ability to be at home more in her environment that she thrives in as well.
that's awesome. I love that you two are getting to know what works, what doesn't, what serves and what doesn't, and just leaning in. It's not expecting yourselves to be perfect,
Mhm.
at doing the dance. Sounds like that's really served you too.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've had some questions come through, and I'd also love to open it up if people want to raise their hand. We can bring you on to ask your questions live. But somebody said when you invited to your first class, you had 17 enrollments. Were those from your old client list, like from your old company, or were
Mhm.
they brand new? Um, and how many of those became builders?
So everyone was brand new because I had not actually left my other company yet. So I didn't invite anybody from my other company. So we've lived in our town for over 40 years. So we know a lot of people. We've been involved in the community and yeah, those were just people that we personally knew. And you guys, you know what my invitation was? I sent a text that said, I'm having a wellness workshop. Want to come? That's all I
Wow,
said.
that's simple.
And it was like yes or no. Or what is that? And then I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know, let me ask.
wellness workshop,
Mhm.
so powerful. Now, I know that some of your upline um, doesn't actually lead with the oils; they lead with the supplements.
Right.
And then they backdoor the essential oils. What's been your approach?
So that's exactly what we do. But we are such believers in the oils also, that like I really do believe, and I think that Lauren Bush is the one who said this, that the oils are going to work better in a
Hmm.
body that is well nourished with
Yeah,
the supplements. And so we
totally.
do lead with the supplements, and it's a great business plan because the retention is so high. I know my
Mhm.
personal retention is 68%, which blows me away. Like
Wow.
it's just amazing that this company has that quality of a product. And then we have, we do like to do essential oil. We actually do our own little unplugged here in our home every month.
Awesome.
And when you have just a few people come,
Hmm.
we never have a lot of people come, but that's okay
That's great.
because then we just talk about like how just our success and how the oils work, and we love it.
And you can go deep on their health issues.
Yes.
So what do they focus on? Because that's what speaks to people is what's in it for me, right? And the
Yes.
more time you can spend on the value that's going to come to them,
Yeah.
the healing, the solutions, like what are all of your health issues, what are your family's health issues?
Mhm.
Let's do a deep dive into those, spend our time there instead of just abstract, stories that don't seem like they apply.
Yeah,
Right.
one of our customers came to an oil class we were doing for information. It was just further information on oils. And she ended up enrolling her daughter, calling her daughter because her daughter had things, and she ended up enrolling her daughter at the oils
Yeah.
class
Wow.
because she found out about things at the oils class. So it
Hmm.
was, just we
I
keep
love that.
It's good.
sharing the story and the love and
Yeah.
back.
Share the story, share the love.
Hmm.
Kim has a question here. Can you go over how you approach those who want those you want to present the business to, like the initial conversation, like how do you just out of the blue bring that up?
Okay, so I'll speak to this in two ways. First of all, at the end of a class, I always share that doTERRA has a clear and simple path to $500 a month. And that's a way you can pay for your products or any other needs that your family has. And usually nobody jumps in on that. And then our team, after the person has enrolled at the end during the enrollment, which is okay, if I'm an in-home class, I'm sharing that. Okay, let's do in-home. And then when the person gets our products, we jump on Zoom with them and we do an open the box and go over the products again and how to use them. And again, I'm sharing. This is just my line. I say it all the time. doTERRA has a clear and simple path to $500 a month if you're ever interested. Nearly 100% of the time they say no. I don't care. Seeds are planted. I'm planting that field. Seeds are planted. And then as we, let's see what comes next. Oh, follow up. Just during follow up, I'm usually not saying anything during follow up. But then as somewhere in the conversation, I'm always saying, as I'm getting to know them better or somewhere, doTERRA has a clear and simple path to $500 a month. So that's how I get my part-time usually. Now my front line, I really spent some time and got clarity on the qualities that were important to me. Because like I was taught, these frontline people are the ones that you really want to like and have a good relationship with. So I was like, okay, so what kind of qualities is that? So I got clarity on that. And then I approached like our daughter said to me when I first started, I asked her to be a placeholder, and she said yes, but I'll never do the business. Okay. And then, 7 months later, I gave them an Essential Life book and the lemon, lavender, and peppermint, and said, I don't even know what I said, but her husband said, I've been watching your parents, I'm watching your dad lose weight. I think you should look into this. And so then,
As business.
yeah, as a business. So then she did. Now for others, like I might have, I don't know if April is on here or Carol or Felicia, they're my three other frontline. I just kept talking to them. Like April was with me in my other company. She's the only one who's come over from my other company, and I adored her. And I knew she was working really, really, really hard, and she wasn't having time with her family.
Yeah.
And I knew what her abilities were, and I just kept a relationship. There she is. She's on. Yeah, yeah, you guys interviewed her a few weeks ago, and I just loved her so much. And I just kept a relationship going with her and didn't talk about the business until they were going to move to Missouri. I was like, okay, I have to do this. I have to talk to her. And so I did. And at that time, she was open. And I approached it. We went to dinner with her and her husband. So I want her husband to see the potential in the business too. And so then she took some time to pray about it, and then she jumped in with us. So that was great. And then I did the same with my other two. Now, Carol, she might be on too. She's one of my newer builders. We're actually going to experience doTERRA tomorrow. And she was like, I didn't even have to approach her. She just used the products, had a fantastic story about pain and such success that she's like, and she's an entrepreneur at heart. And so she's like, I think I want to do this. So I'm thrilled. We've known Carol for like 35 years. So I would say get clarity on the qualities that are important to you in a builder. And then don't be afraid to approach people. I approached a gal that I knew who was working on being a TikTok influencer. And she was like, she did a reel that said she made $38 that week. I'm like, oh, girl, I can help you. $38 is like, I can help you. And so I did approach her, and she is working on her business, but she chose not to be a frontline partner with me. She said, I don't think I can commit to that many hours. So it was great. That was great. Right.
Awesome. That's so great. I love that so much. Okay, I think I saw. Oh, so we've mentioned Experience doTERRA multiple times. That is a powerful resource. Anyone is welcome. Doesn't matter whose team you're on. You can go to experiencedoterra.com to get the dates and the link to register. But somebody, Paula, is asking, do you have a link to the agenda so that we can duplicate it? And the answer is yes. So if you go to sharesuccess.com/leadership, you'll see these resources are all available for free download. And there's some great videos. But then you come down here and you'll see the Experience doTERRA schedule, the Experience doTERRA PowerPoint. And we put these here because we don't want to be the only Experience doTERRA in town. We want there to be one happening in every state, once a month, however often it serves you and your team. So please take these, take whatever serves. The power of these events is not like the actual PowerPoint that we use. You'll see that most of the PowerPoint is just people's stories. It's just people sharing some product experiences, some business success, and that's where belief is built. So go out there. Here's the link, sharesuccess.com/leadership. And yeah, please duplicate. We've seen lots of teams start hosting their own. Melody Watts hosts her own up in Idaho. We have another team that does them in North Carolina. So please take the template and run with it. So Experience doTERRA is a great resource. So Marianne is asking, she flies from Virginia to Utah on a regular basis. You've come a few times, but I don't know how many times you
Tomorrow,
need to.
coming this weekend will be my 5th.
Your 5th. Okay. Awesome. So there's that much value
Yes.
in bringing your prospects to Experience doTERRA that it's worth the cost of flights, the time to be away from work and business and
hotels, everything. And I just want to say that we don't take just anybody. Okay. If someone is committed to being gold and above in 2 years, that's like our threshold.
So you've already had a business conversation before they come, and you have not only conversation, you have commitment from them.
Yes.
To build. So
Right.
it's not like you've said, hey, maybe you should think about doTERRA. You've had the full build conversation, and now it's more like a launch for you than prospecting conversation at Experience doTERRA.
Yes. And I did have one builder who I said, well, Jess, I was going anyway. And she was in California. And so I said, Jess, why don't you just come and you can just see what it's like. And so she did come, and she came in, I think we were there in October, and she committed in November.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Marianne is asking, is it possible to view Experience doTERRA through some sort of live stream? So we never live stream the event anymore, but during COVID, that's all we could do. And so I just posted a link to view one of the Experience doTERRAs that we did during COVID. And you'll see that it's just a random smattering of leaders, mostly telling their stories, but all of them having a really powerful invitation to come and do the business and to have an experience, but to build belief through their stories. So for those on the replay, you go to sharesuccess.com/Experience doTERRA, and there's no dashes. That's just Experience doTERRA. So that's the replay option. Oh, in fact, crazy story. When Amy Fulmer, your upline, decided to leave the same company and come build doTERRA, she had a class model that was brilliant. She had this Experience doTERRA model we were going to leverage. And the month she launched, just a couple months later, COVID started. And so all of her plans for the live events, for Experience doTERRA in person, we had to completely pivot and just make it work through Zoom. So I love her. She has similar determination to you, and just a willingness to say, okay, we learned, we're going to try something else and just keep moving forward. So that grit is so powerful, so useful in this business.
Yeah, pivot is one of Mike's favorite words.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no roadblock. We just need to pivot.
No
Okay,
roadblock.
I love that.
Yeah.
No roadblock, just pivots. Awesome.
Well,
Does anybody else have any more questions for for Judy and Mike. Just looking through. Oh, Cindy says, what time commitments are you asking for? So in the build conversation, people are going to ask, how much time do I need to give? What are you telling them? What are you asking for?
So I'm for that front line, I'm asking for 20 hours or more.
Okay,
It's need to be it's a serious commitment. It's not a part-time hobby.
perfect. Awesome. So I assume that's part of your requirement to come to Experience doTERRA
Yeah,
is we need not only a goal commitment, but a time commitment.
right.
Love that. So cool. Awesome. Well, does anybody have any more questions? Raise your hand or put them in the chat. Any parting words of wisdom for us? You've been so generous with your time and your wisdom. So thank you.
So I think I just like to tell my team, don't quit. This
Yeah.
is a journey. It's not a get rich quick. It takes time to build that pipeline. Give yourself at least 2 to 5 years, and then, and just keep at it. Mike always is always like he's like one of Mike's strengths is releasing outcomes. So
Mhm.
he's not yeah.
Learned strength.
Yeah, so but when we talk to somebody, not everybody's going to say yes. So talking, keep talking and keep sharing and don't quit. And this is like there's no limit.
Love that.
So one of the owners of the Sprinter franchise liked about one of the qualities he liked about me was I was an out of the box thinker, and I like to think of myself as more of a what box thinker.
Mhm.
We just don't.
So true.
There are obstacles.
That could be a ride.
I hear you.
What box?
Uh-huh. Yeah, when you're born to create, then you can create whatever you want, right? Like it's
Yep.
just the world you canvas.
Yeah.
We've had some great questions come through. What do you have them do during their 20 hours per week? Do you set up a certain routine? What are the actions?
Okay, so
They tend to follow the mastering, inviting.
and that's true. But for our front line, like they already have the qualities of knowing, like they already like we don't have to teach them how to work. Yes, April's right. Classes and more classes. Like you
Mhm.
just keep reaching out to people. There's just no other
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
You can't sit in your office and do paperwork for 20 hours and
Yeah.
expect to have a good business. It's all about being with people.
Mhm.
So our frontline people they already have those qualities in them. So it's not
Mhm.
something we have to teach.
Powerful.
I don't know if that helps.
Jeff is asking, do you pay their way to experience doTERRA?
Sometimes we do.
Okay.
We
So,
always at least pay half, at least half.
okay,
Yeah.
so at least half.
Yeah, it's an investment for us. We consider it an investment in our business.
Fantastic. Great. Yep. Put in your marketing budget, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know any great company who's never spent a dime on marketing. It's what we do it builds belief in them too, right?
Yeah.
You say,
Yeah.
I'm willing to invest in you. Awesome. Okay, I think that's all the questions I see. Someone says, do you do smaller classes? Where to go? If you do smaller classes, how often do you host them?
We will host as often as we have people coming. And sometimes it's like we talk to somebody and they're like, well, I would really like to learn more. And they don't want to do that. One-on-one isn't natural right then. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're having a class. We look at our calendar. Oh, we can have it Tuesday. Yeah, we're having a class Tuesday. Can you come? And we create it on the spot.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. When you've committed to this, then yeah, you can create whatever you want. Like you're not restricted to, oh, it's not on the calendar. There's nothing on the books.
And then guess what? That one person is coming. Guess what? We're always finding more to come. We always
Yeah,
find one or two more to come.
I love that. So you're doing classes at your home. Are you also doing classes in their homes?
Yes, we'll do both.
Okay, great.
And
Uh,
Zoom.
Yeah, and Zoom.
Great. Julie says, do you use a duplicatable system like the business building guide?
Do we use what kind of
A
system?
A
duplicate.
duplicatable.
I think it's duplicatable.
So, yeah, I
April,
mean, we've talked
Carol?
about
Yeah.
build guide. We've talked about Experience doTERRA, talked about the launch guide.
Yeah.
You,
Oh,
you
that new launch
leverage,
guide is phenomenal.
don't you love it?
Oh my gosh, we just used it Saturday with a new couple and it's phenomenal. Yeah,
It's fantastic.
very good.
Yeah. Amy and Laura put so much time into that, and then we helped at the very end. So we're so grateful that doTERRA helped us get it to the finish line. So it's a powerful tool.
Fantastic.
Awesome. And then somebody says, on Zoom classes, how do you share the oil experience?
On Zoom classes, we focus on foundational wellness.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
We give a basic understanding of what oils are, since many people aren't familiar with them. So when they know they're going to get an oil with their order for free, and then when we do the open the box with them, we teach them how to use the oil, and that's how they get the oil experience.
I love that. And then Kayla says, with Zoom classes, what do they do beforehand and afterward to get the enrollment?
So we invite, okay, we have people in the class. As soon as the class is over, I have everyone who brought people to the class, all of my leaders, immediately message their guest and say, thank you for coming to class tonight. Are you open for a wellness, or are you available for a wellness consult tomorrow? And we
Great.
set it up immediately.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. We have been so well fed. Thank you so, so much for sharing your story, sharing your journey. I am so glad that you two do this as a couple. Natalie and I have found so much joy and stretch and learning
Yeah.
by doing this as a couple. And I think it's the best way. So, and I know it's not for everyone, right? I don't want to project that, but it makes me so happy when other couples lean in, they see the power of leveraging each other's strengths and just going all in together. So thank you for teaching us and showing us the way to create, especially as a couple. And I invite each of you to lean into your potential to create, to be a creator, to use doTERRA as a vehicle to create whatever it is you want, because that's what it is. So thank you so much, Mike. Thank you, Judy.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good having you.
God bless.
Thank you.